Let's continue talking about cross-country workouts. So if you've been with me recently, we talked about some workouts that'll take you from late summer to early cross-country, right? A tempo into one longer rep into some shorter reps. If you haven't seen that, it's on the channel. If you're a coach or an athlete, you want to continue to learn, make sure you do two things. Hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy the content enough to come back, hit the like button as well. Greatly appreciate it to both of them. So with that said, okay, you also have direct access to me. My email is blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. Again, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com is my personal email. You can reach out to me for any topic when it comes to running. Okay, if you're a coach or an athlete, I answer my emails. I get back to as many people as I can. And I want to help as many people as I possibly can too. Your support really means the world. And if you know some other coaches and people in the running community who you think might benefit from this channel, please let them know about us. Okay, my goal is to get to 10,000 subs by the end of this year. So your support is greatly appreciated. Now, with that said, let's get right to it. Okay, let's continue talking about this. Staple workout for the second half of cross-country races. Okay, the second half is when things get a little tough, right? Especially for those that aren't necessarily fit enough or ready yet or sharp enough. That's why I always talk about a progression of workouts. Right? I give you a series of 3 type of workouts. This is a series of 3 type of workouts, again, that can take you from early season to mid-season or mid-season to late season. It really depends on how you want to do it, your runner or coach, okay? Every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, how you want to fit into your training. But I've used all these with my athletes at the high school and college level with success. I'm going to give you a segment of 3 high school workouts and a segment of 3 college workouts. And again, don't hesitate to ask any questions if you have any. Put them in the comments, send me an email, whatever. I will respond to you. Okay, now let's get right into it. As always, a good warm-up, drills and strides. I always talk about transitional 200s. Okay, if you have a specific pace you want to lock into with the workouts, okay, the 200s, the transition piece after the workout, helps you find the paces of the workouts so you're not having to look for them when the workout starts. This puts you 1 step ahead or maybe 2 steps ahead. So it's just something to keep in mind. I highly encourage you to consider incorporating that. It's 200, 2 to 3 times the 200 with a 200-meter jog at the goal pace. So if your tempo pace is 6 minutes per mile, you run them in 44, 45. Your tempo pace is 5:20 per mile, you run them in 39, 40, and so on and so forth, right? So now let's get right into this. High school first, okay? Workout 1 is a 2-mile tempo. You take a 5 to 6 minute active recovery. And then you're going to do 6 times an 800 or 5 times 1K afterward with a 2-minute recovery. You can progress from 800s to 1K. It's really up to you to decide. Your middle distance runners might do the shorter stuff. Your distance runners might do the longer stuff and so on. But what this does is 2-mile tempo, let me get this off the screen. The tempo helps you what? Elevate the VO2 max and trigger that component of your training, right? Of your fitness. And then start the workout. Let's just say you're starting a workout halfway into a race, right? Or really starting to go hard halfway into the race. Okay? You coasted through the first batch of it. That's what the tempo does. It helps get you to the point where you're starting halfway through it and then attacking it. So that instead of being a longer tempo and a long rep and a bunch of short reps, this is a tempo, a gradually progressive tempo with some race-specific reps on the back end of it. 6 times an 800, let's just say at 5K pace for cross-country, or 5 times a K, 5K pace for cross-country, and so on. Okay, 2-minute recovery. Next up, you can do this 2-3 weeks later. You increase the tempo to 2.5 miles. Okay, same recovery, 5 to 6 minutes, and then you repeat either the 600s or the 800s or the 5K, 5K and 1K. It's up to you to decide which one is most appropriate. You can stick with 800s throughout the whole thing, or you can stick with 1K reps throughout the whole cycle. It's up to you. 2-minute recovery. Okay. Next up, you're progressing towards a 3-mile tempo. Okay, which is almost the length of your race to begin with. Then you take a 5 to 6 minute active recovery, always an active recovery, and then you're going to cut it by a rep. You're going to go from 6 times an 800 to 5, or 5 times a K to 4 times 1K. But now you're going to progress from cross-country pace to a little bit faster. So you progress from 5K pace and you try to run that last rep at 3K pace. So instead of running some shorter stuff like 400s or 300s or something like that at 3K pace, now you go on a longer rep at 3K pace. But just one of them at the end of this workout. Okay, so there's a progression there. The tempos get longer. Okay, the workout specificity stays the same, but gets faster towards the end of this. And again, this can take you from early season to mid-season or mid-season to late season. How you plug it into your training is completely up to you to decide. Okay, now let's go from high school to college. Okay, you'll see some differences. Again, we're going to start you here with the same warm-up drills and strides, transitional 200s as always. Now you're going to start with a 3-mile tempo, 5 to 6 minute active recovery. Then the workout component is 5 times a 1200 or 4 times a mile at 8K race pace with a 2-minute recovery. Okay. And then you're going to progress from 3.5 miles. From 3 miles to 3.5 miles. Same recovery, 5 to 6 minutes, and you can do the same 5 by 1200 or 4 times a mile. Up to you to decide who needs what, right? It's going to be a little less than race distance, 2-minute recovery. And then you progress to a 4-mile tempo, 5 to 6 minute active recovery. Okay. Now you can remain the same. You can stick with the 5 times 1200 since you're doing a little bit less than race distance. It's up to you to decide. Or 4 times a mile. Or you can cut it back by a rep. Do 4 times 1200 and 3 times a mile. But you run the last rep faster than 8K pace. You try to get as close to 5K pace as you possibly can. It's up to you to decide. Now, if you want to go collegiate women, I would go back to this. Okay? This is what I would do for collegiate women who run a 6K. I would do this. And I should have put it on the top, high school / college women 6K. It's more applicable to the distance they're training for. Tempo getting longer, the race being a little bit more specific on the back end to the event that's being run. So my apologies for not putting the / there college women, but you can use this for high school and college women and college men. Okay, and again, the key here is using the tempo component to elevate the VO2 max, get that involved, and then implementing the race specificity when the body's a little bit tired already, but when the body's warmed up, okay, from the tempo run, okay, and the heart rate's already elevated, then you transition to this stuff. And can you do these reps when you're already slightly fatigued, when you're already into a workout? Because this is when you're going to need to tap into it, right? And just think about this too. It simulates a race where it could be either rolling hills or the rolling hills or in the end of the course or the end of a race when things get tough, right? So it's adding an element of difficulty or elevated difficulty towards the middle of the back end of a race. That's the point of the workout too. And you can do them with rolling hills, up to you to decide. Okay, you can do them. You can do the tempo on the track and then do some, and then the repeats over rolling hills. That's completely up to you. Or you can do the tempo over rolling hills if you can lock into pace and do these repeats on the track. Or you can mix and match them, right? I highly encourage you to take a look at the course you're going to run. If you're running a course multiple times in a season, then you can utilize this appropriately to simulate how you want it to go based on the course or the course that you're going to be running. But this workout cycle right here is a good workout segment to do. And again, it gives you an opportunity to track the progress. Do you recover the same way or just as good when the tempos get longer? Can you maintain the pace of the workout on the back end with the longer tempo? This gives you a chance to check in without having to change the workout constantly. That's why I like cycling workouts like this, to give you 2 or 3 opportunities to do it, because it gives you a tangible sense of being able to track your progress here, right? Can you run the reps faster on the back end after the tempo? Or do some athletes need to go to shorter reps after the longer tempo? You might have college athletes who could be middle distance runners running cross-country races, right? Your half milers or milers, there's a fair amount of them who run cross-country races. Maybe they need to do the 800s 1Ks instead of the 1200s and the mile repeats, right? You can mix and match how you see fit, okay? So, but I wanted to give you the next kind of segment of a cycle like this for cross-country. Take a look at it. If you haven't seen it, take a look at my other sequence. Again, it's a tempo with one long rep and then some shorter, faster stuff. Okay, like what I mean, 300s and 400s. So it's a little bit of a different. You're getting bits and pieces of everything. Now we're just increasing the pieces here. Okay, and making it a little bit more specific to cross country. And since you're in early to mid season, you should be ready to handle these, especially if you're doing these other ones before this. Okay, especially if you run over the summer, especially if you tested yourself or tested your athletes over a mile. It gives you an idea of how to set training paces for everything. And I got videos on here if you haven't seen that yet either. Basically testing yourself, or you're testing your athletes at a mile, and what the paces should be for everything based on what you run for the mile. I've gone everything from 8 minutes down to 4 minutes in every 20-second increment. I give you training paces for everything. Easy runs, steady runs, tempos, thresholds. I've done critical velocity, done your equivalent 3K pace, or your equivalent 3K and 5K abilities, your equivalent 800 and 400 abilities, based on what you run for the mile. Okay. Everything is in writing in here. And if you have questions about it, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to help. You want to figure out how to incorporate this into the training that you do based on how often you race, reach out to me. We can figure out how to plug this in for you, or modify it to make it appropriate for you, or make it appropriate for your athletes. Because how you race or how often you race is also something that should be factored in. Racing every week or twice per week makes it much more difficult to fit in workouts like this, right? So this is where a balance of workouts and racing makes sense. Okay. But again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Have a great season, gang, and I'll talk to you next time.